Hello everybody and welcome to a special episode where I try to recreate the new SpaceX BFR rocket. And there were some slight problems with the first iterations, as you can see here. Again! And here! Well, as it turns out, Kerbal Space Program nowadays can't do the things I did back a year ago, where I stacked some fairings atop each other and tried to recreate the SpaceX ITS system. So, again, I had to resort to a mod called Kerbal Joint Reinforcements. And here we go! Liftoff! By the way, if you're interested in the video of last year, you can click on your right hand side of the screen and watch that. It was quite fun creating it. Alright, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday Elon Musk proposed a new version of his interplanetary transport system for SpaceX, which consists of, well, this payload thingy up here and the BFR. Big effing rocket. And here it is, well, at least my interpretation of it in Kerbal Space Program. And yeah, we're going to separate the booster here. Thing is, in reality this thing will be about 106 meters tall. Last year it was 122 meters, we are now a little bit smaller. It also has less engines. And this here is actually almost the same size. It's about 9 meters in diameter and it is about 100 meters tall on the launch pad. And it is designed to, well, land on Duna and any other planet or moon that is easier, so to speak, than Duna, meaning it has less gravity. And here I thought, well, since the moon was in such a good position, why not try to go straight for it? Since Elon Musk also proposed using this here thing for a moon base or something like that. Okay, we are now on close approach of the moon and we're going to land this thing. For the vacuum engines I'm using the Rhino engines, and for the landing engines or atmospheric engines I'm using the Vectors. And yes, I am quite aware of what my version looks like, thank you very much. Also, I didn't bother with all that windows that are in the design study and tried to give it a little bit more of a face, so to speak. You know, those little eyes made out of cockpits, and you could interpret the rings of the fairing as a smile, so to speak. Alright, this is actually my first ever attempt of landing this thing anywhere. I did no tests whatsoever before and it worked, which is nice. Inside the payload fairing you can see a lot of crew modules designed to take 96 Kerbals, except those in the cockpits, to, well, anywhere basically. So do I have enough Delta V to get back to Kerbin? Mind you, I didn't refuel in orbit after getting this thing off of the surface in the first place, so let's try where we are going to end up with it. I think orbit might be possible, not so sure about the return to Kerbin. Yeah, we have now switched back to the vacuum engines. Although in Kerbal Space Program it's not that big of a deal, the ISP difference is not that big, and also the shape of the engine bell is completely irrelevant compared to reality. And yeah, as I expected, I don't have enough Delta V to make the trip back or even land this thing. So I tried again. I sent another one up into orbit. There it is. Look at that friendly face. It's smiling while burning. Alright, and this time I also tried to reuse the booster. First, of course, the separation of the stage. Goodbye. And then I switched back to the booster, and the first problem was it was already spinning like crazy and it did not hit the tank where fuel was saved for the return trip. Well, not at first. And then, yeah, probably the 31 engines were a bit overkill. At least for just the booster, but in the end I think it was too little, too late and too heavy. So you can see it re-entering here, fiery re-entry through the clouds, and well, not really enough delta V to, yeah, there we go. Again! So let's do it another way. I saved more fuel than before, and maybe I could have made the landing, but I tried to get this thing back to the launch pad as proposed in the SpaceX plan. But yeah, that basically didn't work out. I also reduced the number of engines used while descending and had to switch back to all of them because the thrust-to-weight ratio was not high enough. Well, this thing is not really designed to work practically. It's designed to look like the BFR. This here is the tanker. Now that I have put another interplanetary transfer payload thing in orbit, I decided to refuel it to get it to Duna. So here we are planning our maneuvers and rendezvous with it, and then of course firing our tanker engines. Inside the payload fairing up top there is the S3 14400 Kerbal tank and 6 orange tanks filled to the brim to transfer them to that thing in the background. Okay, so the new way of docking in the past, the SpaceX proposed way of docking those things sideways, the new way is docking them straight together at the back. Therefore I included 4 docking ports each. And for some reason they did not want to dock. I lined them up perfectly, as you can see in the docking indicator, but for some reason no lock was engaged. So I thought, maybe if I quick save and reload it would work, but again! I thought wrong. Well, after refueling the traditional way, using HyperEdit, I managed to get an encounter with Duna, or at least plan an encounter with Duna, and then fired away. Okay, the vacuum engines are firing away, and we are off on our way to Duna. And this thing here has about 4,000 meters per second of delta V when it's fully filled up, with the payload of about 50 tons, which is those crew cabins that you've seen earlier. We're now leaving Kerbin. There we go, the friendly interplanetary ship on its way to Duna with its solar ears extended. And we're already here, thanks to the magic of video editing. Okay, first attempt at aerobraking this thing. I'm choosing a trajectory not that high, so I won't burn up. Or not immediately. And there we go, we're diving through the atmosphere, and well, we did not manage to get a completely safe orbit, so I had to use the engines to help us out a little bit. And then I've overshot. Yeah, we're now crashing into the surface, which I don't like, so I adjusted my orbit accordingly with just a tiny amount of delta V. This was not a big expenditure. And then another dive into the atmosphere was in order. There we go, we're burning again, but it's a good burn, of course. And once we have slowed down significantly enough, I switched to the landing engine and decided to get down to the surface. And here we go, and I had to activate the big engines as well because we came in way too quickly. Let's hope that won't happen in real life when they test that thing sometime. Okay, setting down gently, we don't have any landing legs, and yes, this worked out nicely. Let's have a look outside the window. Jebediah is watching the skies above Yuma. Nice. Then I tried to get him inside, but for some reason the hatches were obstructed. So, well, I thought maybe I can get him out on top and glide down safely with the jetpack. But let's see what happens. Whoops! Oh no! No! Jetpack, where's your jetpack, Jab? No! I killed Jab! Oh well, a small sacrifice for a step to an interplanetary species, isn't it? Thanks for watching. Goodbye.